300 centimeters into meters. Change 300 centimeters into meters. So I'm going to ask you guys to answer these questions because you know that they are very, very, very simple. So we know that in 1 meter there is 100 centimeters. So how much will be 300 centimeters in meters? It's going to be 3. Well done for getting in meters. So now let's work out 1/3 of 24. A third of 24. So how do we do this? Yes, it is 8. And to do this question, it's just going to be 24 divided by 3, which will just be 8. Okay? And now question number 3. We need to write 40% as a fraction. What will be that? And I recommend writing it in its simplest form. And remember, a percentage means just out of 100. Percentage means out of 100. So 40 is going to be 40 out of 100. And now if we simplify it, 4 out of 10. So well done for getting 4 out of 10. But wait, we can simplify it even more to 2 over 5. So well done for getting 2 over 5. Okay. Question number 4. We need to work out 2.5 squared. Work out 2.5 squared. 2.5 squared. So guys, remember this is paper 3. So you're allowed to use a calculator. You're allowed to use a calculator. So if you just type in 2.5 squared in your calculator, you will get an answer of 6.25. So 6.25 will be your answer, guys. Well done. So we have question number 5 now. We need to write the following numbers in order of size, starting with the smallest number. So, start with the smallest number. The smallest number it's going to be one of the negative numbers. The smallest number is -6. So we're going to write -6 over here, -6. And then we have -4 as the second smallest number. Write -4 over here. And then we have -3. And then we have 0, 1, 2, and then 7. That is fairly simple. So the first page was pretty easy. Very actually easy. It's 1 mark questions. And that's just 5 questions already done. So give a thumbs up if you're ready to move on to our next question, our next page. And do not forget to follow, guys. I do live every single day, so you do not want to miss them out. I do both foundation and higher. Today we're doing foundation. Tomorrow is going to be the higher paper, okay? So let's move on to question number 6. So the graph shows some information about car productions in the UK over 8 years. Over 8 years. For how many of these years was car production more than 1.4 million? So we have to work out how many of these years was the car production more than 1.4 million. So we're going to look at our y-axis. So we have 1.4 million. Draw like a quick line. So how many of these years was the car production more than 1.4? Remember, it is more. So then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So well done in the chat. For the people that got 5, it's going to be 5 years. So well done for that. And then, in which 2 years was the car production the same? The car production the same. So which was the same? So when it means the same, when the y-axis is the same, so it's going to be 5 and 6. 5 and 6 years. As you can see, they are both up to 1.5 million. 5 and 6 is both at 1.5 million. So well done for getting that correct. This question was worth 2 mark question. Well done for getting it correct. So let's move on to our next question, guys. You guys should already know that at the start the paper is going to be a bit easy. Then as you progress through the paper, it's going to get a bit more harder and more difficult, okay? So, we're on question number 7. What fraction of the shape is shaded? Give your answer in the simplest form. So for this question, the easiest way to answer this question is to actually just count the shapes, So it's going to be, we're going to count how many there are in total. So this is a 4x4 grid. It's going to be 16 squares in total. That's going to be our denominator. Now we're going to count how many there are shaded. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 shaded box or squares. It's going to be 12 over 16. And then it says to write in its simplest form. So in the chat, tell me what's the simplest form of 12 over 16. Yes, it's going to be 3 over 4. So well done for getting 3/4. 3/4 is going to be a final answer. 3/4. Well done for getting that correct. So now, you have question number 8. So Kareem buys 200 tiles. The tiles are sold in boxes. There are 25 tiles in each box. Each box of tiles costs £9.75. Work at the total cost of the boxes of tiles Kareem buys. So to answer this question, first of all, we need to work out how many boxes Kareem actually has. How many boxes he actually has. So to work out how many boxes he has, we have to do 200 tiles, which is the number of tiles he buys, divided by 25, which is the number of tiles that fit into a box. 200 divided by 25. And guys, remember, this is paper-free foundation, so you're allowed to use a calculator. So you would do 200 divided by 25, which is 8. So basically, Kareem has 8 boxes in total. 8 boxes in total. So now we work out the number of boxes. We know that each box costs £9.75. So we're going to do 8 boxes times £9.75, which will give you £78. £78. And that will be your answer, £78. So total cost of the boxes of tiles Kareem buys is £78. So well done for getting that correct. This question was worth 3 marks. Worth 3 marks, guys. So well done. So give a thumbs up in the chat if you're ready to move on to our next question. And if you have any questions, please ask me in the chat, and I'm going to answer it as soon as possible. And also, do not forget to follow. Let's hit my live goal for today. So let's move on to our next question. So we have question number 9. So we need to work out the value of 300 divided by 2 times 5. 300 divided by 2 times 5. This is paper-free foundation. So the way you would do this is that there's 2 methods. Basically, this is a calculator paper, so you can just put this into your calculator and you'll get your answer. The other way is you just do 2 times 5, which is 10. It's going to be 300 divided by 10. And 300 divided by 10 is basically 30. Okay? That's going to be your answer. And now we need to work out the value of 6 minus 2.5 in brackets then 8 plus 4. So to do this, you will first do 6 minus 2.5. 6 minus 2.5 is 3.5. So you have 3.5 and then times in it by 8 plus 4. 3 times 5 times by 8 plus 4, which is 12, which will give you 42. Okay? And that will be your answer of 42. So well done, guys, for getting that correct. Now, in the chat, tell me the answer to the next question. So, write down the reciprocal of 20 in the chat. Tell me what is the answer. It's a 1 mark question. Should be easy. What is the reciprocal of 20, guys? What is the reciprocal? So, reciprocal just means like when you flip a number. So, we can write 20. We can write 20 as 20 over 1. And when you do the reciprocal, you flip it around. So you get 1 over 20. That is the reciprocal. Or you can also write 0.05, okay? Or you can write 0.05. Okay? It is not minus 1 over 20. It is not the negative reciprocal. It is only the reciprocal. So the answer is 1 over 20 or 0.05 if you write it as a decimal. So that page was worth 3 marks. So let's move on. So you want me to explain question B? So how we do this is basically like BIDMAS. So what you would do is that you would do this part first. So you do 6 minus 2.5. 6 minus 2.5 gives you 3.5, okay? And then 8 plus 4 gives you 12. Now, once you work that out, when there's 2 brackets together, you multiply them. So we're going to do 3.5 times 12, which will give you the answer of 42. Okay? This is paper-free foundation, guys. Paper-free foundation. This is calculator, so you can basically put this into your calculator. Yes, it's a calculator paper, guys, so you can actually just type this into your paper. Into your calculator. So, let's move to question number 10. This is the year 2020. Am I going to be doing higher maths? Yes, I do higher papers as well. So yesterday I did higher paper, so tomorrow I'll be doing higher paper, okay? Basically, I do foundation and higher every single day, okay? So the graph shows information about the time in minutes a liquid has been cooling and the temperature of the liquid in degrees Celsius. What is the temperature of the liquid at 2 minutes? So the people in the chat already giving me the answer. So that's a very good thing. So for 2 minutes, we look at this. We go look at our x-axis, which is time. You go up until you meet your line, and then you go across to your y-axis, which is your temperature, and you get 80 degrees. So that's going to be your answer for the first one, 80 degrees. And then we have Pam recorded the time when the liquid had a temperature of 50 degrees. Write down this time. So how long did it take him? So he was at 50 degrees. So we're going to go from 50 and see how many minutes it takes him. So we're going to go from here. So they're going to go from here, go across, and then we touch this. And then we go down to our x-axis, and you get 8 minutes. So our answer is 8 minutes. Okay? So basically, this was a very, very easy question. You just had to read the graph, and then you would have gotten your answer. Okay? You just had to read your graph, guys. So give a big thumbs up in the chat if you understand and if you're ready to move on. This is foundation paper today. Foundation paper, guys. Let's move on, guys. So you have part C of this question now. Pam says that the temperature of the liquid drops more in the first 3 minutes of cooling than it does between time 9 minutes and time 12 minutes. Is Pam correct? So we have to work this out. The first thing we do is you have to work out the drop in the first 3 minutes. Drop in the first 3 minutes. And then you would have to work out the drop between 9 and 12 minutes. So let's quickly do that. So we have to work out the drop from the first 3 minutes. So if we go up here, we have to work on the drop for the first 3 minutes. So we're going to go over here. First 3 minutes, we're going to go up over here. Go up like this from the x-axis from 3 and go across like that. And that will give us 27 degrees. So the drop from 100 to over here is 27 degrees. So it is about this is 73 degrees, okay? Yeah, 73 degrees. Then you're going to subtract about 100 to get the temperature drop. It's going to be 27 degrees. So the temperature drop is 27 degrees. Okay, remember, it's the drop. And now we have to work out the drop between 9 and 12 minutes. 9 and 12 minutes. So we have 9 minutes over here. So 9 minutes is going to be from here. So let's go across from 9 minutes. I'm going to go like this. And then 9 to 12 minutes, and then it's going to be here. Like that. And now we have to work out this drop over here. Now the drop is going to be 7 minutes. The drop is 7 minutes. So the drop between 9 and 12 minutes is going to be 7 degrees, sorry. 7 degrees. So is Pam correct? So he said that the temperature of the liquid drops more in the first 3 minutes, and I think he is correct because it does drop more. So we just have to write yes, and then you can also write that 27 degrees is greater than 7 degrees, and then that should be your answer, okay? So let's move on to question number 11. So 11 is PQRS is a quadrilateral. So this is a quadrilateral, guys. So in the chat, tell me, what does the word quadrilateral mean? I just want you guys to I want myself to know if you guys actually know what it means. So quadrilateral means it is a four-sided shape. Just keep that in mind, okay? A four-sided shape. Now, PST, this is a straight line. Work out the value of y. So we know that angles in a quadrilateral add to 360 degrees, okay? Angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360 degrees. So what we're going to do, we're going to do 360 minus 130 minus 95 and then minus 65 degrees. Now this, when you put this into your calculator, you will get 70 degrees, okay? 70 degrees. So this angle over here is 70 degrees. Now to work out the angle y, we know that angles in a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So we just have to do 180 minus 70 degrees. So minus 70 degrees, and you would get 110 degrees. So well done, guys, for getting that correct. Lots of people got that correct. So well done. That was a basic angle question. You just had to know your rules and then just work it out. So let's move on to our next question, guys. Question number 12. So here are the first 5 terms of a number sequence. 45, 40, 35, 30, and 25. We need to write down the next 2 terms of this sequence. To work out the next 2 terms, what we need to do, we have to work out what is the pattern, what is going up, what is going down in this case. So as you can see, we are subtracting 5 each time. We're subtracting 5 each time in the sequence. So our next number is going to be 25 minus 5, which is going to be 20. And then to get our the second term, it's going to be 20 minus 5, which will be 15. So our next terms is 20 and 50. 20 and 15. Okay? Super, super easy. Now, it says a term of this sequence is minus 5. which term. So basically what we need to do, we have to work out which number term does minus 5 end up in. So we know that the sixth term, we worked out the sixth term is 20. Okay, the sixth term is 20. So we're going to work out the 7th, 8th, 9, 10, and 11. And let's see if we get to minus 5. So we know that the 6th term is 20. The 7th term is going to be 15. The 8th term is going to be 10. The 9th term is going to be 5. 10th term is going to be 0. And the 11th term is going to be negative 5. That means that the 11th term is minus 5. So that is going to be your answer. 11th. Okay? So now let's move into part B. So the nth term of a different sequence is given by the expression 4n plus 3. Find the 9th term of the sequence. So what we need to do is to work out the 9th term, and we're already given the nth term. What we need to do, we have to just substitute the value of 9 into our equation. So we have 4, and then the value of n is going to be 9. Substitute it in there, and then we have to add the 3. So then we know that 4 times 9 is 36. Then 36 plus 3 will give you 39. The 39 is going to be your answer. Very, very simple. So guys, do not worry, it's going to get a bit harder. It's going to be a bit harder, so you're not going to get bored, right? You won't get bored. Yes, this is foundation. So, this is paper-free calculator. Paper-free calculator. Okay? Yes, I do higher. I'm going to do higher tomorrow. Okay? I want you guys to tell me if my new profile picture looks good, okay? Tell me in the chat if my new profile picture looks good. I made it yesterday. Okay? So, we have question number 13. So, work out the perimeter of this shape. We need to work out the perimeter of this shape. So what we need to do is the perimeter, it just means like the length of each side, and then we have to add them together. So we have some missing lengths that we need to work out. We have to work out this specific length over here and this one as well. To work out this length over here, what we need to do, we have to do 10 minus 4. 10 minus 4 is going to be 6. That is going to be 6 centimeters. And this one over here is going to be 7 minus 5, which is going to be 2 centimeters. Now we work out the missing lengths of each side. Now the perimeter is the total length of every single side added together. So we're just going to do 7. So we're going to do 10 plus 7 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 2. And you can use the help of your calculator to work this out. And you'll get a grand total of 34 centimeters. And that will be your answer, 34 centimeters. Well done for getting that correct. So, yes, this is foundation, guys. This is foundation. How do I find the missing sides? Is because we know that this length is 10 centimeters. Because this is 10 centimeters, right? And then we know that this is 4. So the missing one is going to be 6 centimeters because we're going to do 10 minus 4, which is going to be 6 centimeters right there. Okay, and then it's the same process with this 2 centimeters, okay? Okay? So let's do our next question, guys. Question number 14a. Simplify 3x plus 5y plus 2x minus 4y. So what we need to do, we have to basically So you can't hear me, guys. Can you hear me? Okay, that's good. So let's begin. So let me just continue now. So we have 3x plus 2x. So we can add the x's together. So we get 5x. And then we're going to add our y's together. So we're going to do 5y minus 4y, which will give you positive y. So basically 1. So which is going to give you 5x plus y. And then that's just your answer. So your simplified version is 5x plus y. 5x plus y, that will be your answer. So, now for part B, we have to solve 5p plus 7 is equal to 22. So we have 5p plus 7 is equal to 22. That's a simple equation you need to solve. So what we need to do, first thing you would do is that you will subtract 7 from both sides. So you do minus 7 from both sides. Okay? Subtract 7 from both sides. And you would get 5p is equal to 15. And then you would divide by 5 on both sides. And that will give you p is equal to 3. And that will be your answer. So basically, p is equal to 3. This is paper free calculator. Calculator paper free. Okay? So, your thumbs up in the chat if you're ready to move on to our next question. Yes, the paper started really easy. Yes, I'm going to post this on YouTube after this live ends. So if you guys are a bit late, you can watch it on my YouTube channel, okay? So how I got over here, so this part over here. So we have 5p plus 7 is equal to 22. We have to find the value of p. So what we do, that you would do minus 7 from both sides because you want to make p on its own. Minus 7 on both sides, which will end up with 5p is equal to 15. And then to get p on its own, we divide by 5 on both sides. So we get p is equal to 3. And that's how we get your answer. Okay? So we have question number 15. So here are the cost of the same type of batteries in two shops. Harry needs to buy at least 30 batteries. He assumes that he has to buy batteries in whole packs. Harry wants to buy the batteries as cheaply as possible from the same shop. Which shop should he buy the batteries from? Shop A or from shop B? So, what we need to do is that we need to work out how much it costs to buy 30 batteries from shop A and how much it costs to buy 30 batteries from shop B, and we have to see which one is cheaper. I'm going to split this up over here. That was not a straight line. So split this up. And then we have to do shop A. So shop A, we have to work out how many packets he needs to buy. So we have to do 30 divided by 4. 30 divided by 4 will give you 7.5. You put this into your calculator and work it out. We'll give you 7.5, right? So he's buying in like whole packs. So it's going to be 8 packs. So we're going to round it up to 8 packs. So now we know he's going to buy 8 packets. We're now going to do 8. We're going to do £1.60 times by 8. £1.60 times by 8 will give you £12.80. £12.80 will be the price for shop A. And now we're going to work out the price for shop B. So we're going to do 30 for shop B. We're going to do 30 divided by 6. And we get 5 packs. So he's going to get 5 packets from there. And then we're going to do £2.70 times by 5. So you get £13.50. £13.50. So which one is cheaper? Shop A is cheap. So, but then in the end, you're just going to have to write shop A. Okay, and that will just be your final conclusion. Just write shop A. And now part B. Harry's assumption is wrong. He can also buy single batteries for 40p each in shop A and for 45p each in shop B. Does this affect which of these two shops Harry should buy batteries from? Does this affect our answer? Does this affect our answer, guys? In the chat, tell me. So basically, it doesn't affect. Basically, the answer is no. The answer is no, guys. Remember, it's no. Why? Is no. Because there is no single batteries. You don't need single batteries in this. From shop B, you do not need single batteries because you have it divides neatly, okay? But over here, the price actually decreases on shop A because you have an extra 0.5 packet that you do not need, okay? So the price will be the same for shop B and will decrease for shop A. Okay, but don't forget that correct. This question 15 was worth 5 marks. So let's move on to our next question, question number 16. So where did I get 8 packets from? It is because we did 30 divided by 4, which gave you 7.5. And since he said he wanted in whole packs, we had to round up to get to 8 packets, okay? So let's move on to our next question. Question number 16. There are only 5 blue cards, 2 green cards, and 4 red cards in a pack. Isabella is going to take out random 1 card from the pack. Write down the probability that Isabella will take a blue card. A blue card, okay, a blue card. So first thing you would do is that you will need to work out the total number of cards in the whole pack. So in the whole pack, the total number of cards is going to be 5 plus 2 plus 4, which is going to be 11 cards in total, okay? Yes, this will be posted on YouTube, guys. This will be posted on YouTube. Now, since we have to work out the probability of blue cards, the number of blue cards is 5. It is 5, okay? It's 5. So, the numerator is going to be 5. The numerator is going to be 11. And then that is going to be your answer, 5 over 11. Okay? Now, Ken is going to throw a biased dice once. The probability that the dice will land on a 6 is 0.3. Work out what is the probability that the dice will not land on a 6 not. So we know that probability adds up to 1. So we just do 1 minus 0.3 to get 0.7. So someone's asking me when will I post it on YouTube. I will post this on YouTube when this live ends, okay? So you have 0.7. This is foundation, guys. This is foundation. That's why it's a bit easy. So, let's do this next question over here. So you have to draw accurately an isosceles triangle with sides of length 8 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 6 centimeters. One side of the triangle has been drawn for you. So for this question, you would have to use a ruler and a pencil. Okay, just in case you make a mistake, you would need to draw it in pencil because just in case you make a mistake. So what you would do is that to draw it accurately, you would first of all measure 4 centimeters over here, 4 centimeters, and then you would draw like a rough line. You would draw like a rough line over here like that. That's 4 centimeters, okay? And then what you would do is that you would literally like draw a triangle. The missing length, that would be like this and like that. And make sure straight, as you know that I cannot draw straight lines on this thing. And then you would do like that, and that would be 6 centimeters and 6 centimeters, okay? That should be fairly easy. That's easy 2 marks. So I'm not gonna really go deep into this because there's nothing to go deep in anyways. Yeah. So question number 18 is that this graph can be used to change between US dollars and British pounds. Rosie bought a ring in the USA. She paid 345 US dollars. So work out the amount Rosie paid for the ring. The amount Rosie paid for the ring. So what we are going to do is that we're going to use this conversion table. We use this conversion table to work this out, basically. It's there for a reason. So what we're going to do is that we're going to use 60 US dollars. You will use 60 US dollars. So we're going to work out that $60 is if we go like this, 60 US dollars is 45 pounds, okay? 60 US dollars is 45 pounds. So you know that 60 US dollars is 45 pounds. So now we know that 60 US dollars is 45 pounds. We have to work out what 345 US dollars actually is. So you guys know that this is a calculator paper. So what you would do is that you're going to work out 1 US dollar. So you would divide by 60 on both sides. Okay. So when you divide by 60, you will get 0.75 pounds. So $1 is 0.75 pounds. And then to go from $1 to $345, you would multiply by 345. So when you do this, you do the same thing for over here, times by 345, and then you would get 258.75. And that will be your answer. 258.75 will be your answer. So well done for getting that correct. So we're actually halfway through the paper now. We're halfway through the paper. And guys, do not forget to follow. Tomorrow I'll be doing the higher paper, so yeah. Why is it 60? You could do anything. So you could start with like you could have done 20 US dollars. You could have done 20 US dollars, you could have done 40 US dollars, you could have done 50 US dollars. But I would have done 20 or 60. 20 or 60 would have been alright. Because they're like the conversion rate is very neat. Okay? They're very neat. Like it's like an integer, okay? So how many questions are there in this paper? There are 29 questions. 29 questions. So So then, question number 19. Here are the types of sandwiches sold in a cafe last week. 56 tuna sandwiches were sold. This was 40% of the total number of sandwiches sold. Work out the total number of sandwiches sold. So we know that 40% of the total sandwiches is 56. So we know that we can literally write over here 40% of total is equal to 56. Okay, that is the equation you will use to start off. So then what we need to do, we have to change this percentage sign to 100% of total. Okay, we have to work that out. We have to go from 40% to 100%. How do we do that? Very simple. First, you would do work. We're going to work out 1% of the total. So 1% of the total, you would divide by 40. So divide by 40 on both sides. You can divide by 40, but I think I shouldn't do divide by. I shouldn't do 1%. I think we should do 10% instead. 10% should be better. So we should divide by 4, because if you divide by 40, then you will get like a decimal over here. And I don't want a decimal. So you're going to divide by 4 now. We'll divide by 4. And then when you divide by 4, you get 10% of the total, which is 14. So then we've got 10% of the total, which is 14. We can work out 100%. So in the chat, tell me what is 100% of the total. We have to multiply by 10. So what's going to be the answer? It's going to be 140. Well done. 140. So of the 56 tuna sandwiches sold, 18 was sold on Friday. Write 18 as a percentage of 56. Give your answer correct, the nearest whole number. So what you would do for this one, we know that we have to write 18 as a percentage of 6. So if we basically use the statement, write 18 as a percentage of 56, we know that 18 is going to be our numerator over 56, which is going to be our denominator. We need to write this as a percentage. Now, to write this as a percentage, whenever you're trying to convert a fraction to a percentage, you always multiply by 100. So you would use a calculator. Use a calculator, and then you will get 32%. Okay? 32% will be your answer. 32%. So well done, guys. It's going to be 32%. So, give a thumbs up in the chat if you're ready to move on to our next question. So guys, remember, percentages means out of 100. That is why I'm multiplying by 100, because we know that percentages means out of 100. That is why we're multiplying by 100, and that's like the method that we always use, okay? So we have question number 20 now. So, actor, Ben and Carl each have some money. They have some money. Actor has £65, Ben has £100, and Carl has 3 £5 notes, 1 £20 notes, and some £10 notes. The mean amount of money per person is £80. Work, how many £10 notes does Carl have? So the thing we have to do first is we have to work out the total amount of money, that they have. So to work out total amount of money, we know that the mean is 80. So to work out the mean, you always do the total divided by the number of people, which is 3, which is equal to 80. That is our mean. So we're going to use our mean to work out the total amount of money that they have, okay? So, to work out the total, you're going to multiply by 3 on both sides. and you will get the total amount of money that they have. The total is equal to £240. Okay? So now we work out the total. We're going to do 65 plus 100. So we're going to do 240 minus 100 and minus £65 to get £75. Now this is the amount of money Carl has. Okay? So Carl has £75. And now what we're going to do to work out how many £10 notes he has, we are going to do 5 times 3. That is going to be £15 worth of £5 notes that he has. And then 1 times 20 is going to be £20. Then we're going to do 15 plus 20, which is going to be £35. So then, to work out how many £10 notes he has, we're going to do 75 minus £35, which is going to be £40. This is how much the £10 notes are worth. Okay, to work out how much they are worth. So to work out how many there are, very, very, very simple. We have to do 40 divided by the 10 to get 4 £10 notes. Okay, so answer is 4. That will be your answer. So give a thumbs up in the chat if you understand this question. This question was worth 4 marks. 4-mark question. Easy 4 marks you could ever achieve. And it's question number 20 as well, guys. It's question number 20 as well. Why do I times by 3? So I multiplied by 3 because he has 3 £5 notes. We had to work out the value, how much the 3 £5 notes are worth. That would be £15. And then £20, they would add them together, which get £35. And it's subtracted by 75 to get £40. Okay? And then you will get your answer. Okay? So, this is foundation. So, question number 21, guys. How do you calculate mean? So you calculate mean, so you do the total amount divided by the number of people, then that will be your mean. So that's how they got the mean of 80. Okay? And that's actually how we worked out the total. So Malik is going to throw a fair coin 50 times. Write down an estimate for the number of times the coin will land on heads. So we know that there are only 2 outcomes on a on a coin, which is heads and tails. That's the only 2 outcomes that you can get. And we know that the probability of getting either one of them is a half. So to get a head, the probability of getting is a half. So we're just going to do half of 50. Half times 50, which will be 25. So what of getting 25? That was an easy 1-mark question. 25. So, the part B is that Paula and Simon are trying to find out if a different coin is biased. She throws the coin 10 times. She records the number of times the coin lands on heads. Simon throws the same coin 100 times. He records the number of times the coin lands on head. Whose results will be more useful in deciding the coin is biased? I want you to answer this question in the chat. So write Simon or Paula in the chat. Which one is the answer? Yes, it is Simon, because He has done more trials. So Simon, because he has done more trials. Okay? Yeah, you can write any of one of them, but doesn't have to write that. It's more accurate because he has done more trials, or because he has a bigger results table, whatever. Just have to write something along those lines and you will get it correct. So let's look at our next question. So, question number 22. We have, here is a solid made of a square-based pyramid and a cube. Each edge of the solid has a length of 6 centimeters. On centimeter grid, draw the plan of this solid. Draw the plan of this solid. So first of all, we know that each of this is 6 centimeters in length, 6 centimeters, and 6 centimeters. Okay? So, in the chat, tell me, is plan the top view, the top perspective, if you look from the top, or the side perspective, or the front perspective? Is it the top, side, or front? In the chat, tell me, is it the top, side, or front? You guys should know that. So the plan is the top view. So how will it look like? How will the shape look like if you're looking at it from directly from the top? If you're looking at it from this direction like this. Okay? So you know that the shape is going to be 6 times by 6. So it's going to be from here, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 6 like this. And then 6 like that. And guys, please mind my wonky lines. Make sure you use a ruler when you're doing it actually in the actual exam. And now, that is not our plan, guys. We haven't finished our plan. Because look, these lines over here, as you can see, these lines of our pyramid, as you can see, this is going to be, you have to draw this. You have to draw this over here, okay? So, the middle point, the exact middle point of this is this over here. That's the middle point. And then, we're just going to connect them from each side like that. And that will literally be your plan. Okay? And that will be your easy 2 marks achieved. Easy 2 marks. That is literally the plan. That is how easy it was. So you just have to know that plan is from the top view. Okay, the top view. It's the bird eye view that some teachers say is the bird eye view. But I wouldn't say it's the bird's eye view because then a bird might be from here. A bird might be here and might be looking like this. So it always say like the top. Like the way if you look from directly from the top. Okay? Yes, you would only get 1 mark if you only did a square. You have to also draw these 4 lines because look at this. If you look from the top, you will also see these 4 lines like this, okay? So just remember that. Okay? So let's move on to our next question. So in the chat, tell me in the chat if you like algebra. Do you guys like algebra? Do you guys like algebra? So if you guys like algebra, that's good for you. Because guess what? The next question is algebra. So we have to simplify n to the power of 3 times n to the power of 5. So when we have the same base and you're multiplying powers, you add these 2 powers together. because they have the same base. Add those two powers together to get n to the power of 8. Pretty simple. Okay? And now we have to simplify c to the power of 3, then d to the power of 4, over c to the power of 2, and then d. Like that. Now, when we are dividing, you subtract the powers, okay? We subtract the powers, okay? Subtracting powers. So c to the power of 3 divided by c to the power of 2 will give you c to the power of 1. But you will just write it as c, okay? You do not write something to the power of 1, it's just going to be c. And d to the power of 4, and that is d to the power of 1, and an invisible 1 over here. You subtract the powers, you get d to the power of 3. And then you would have c, and then d to the power of 3. And that will just be your answer, c and d to the power of 3. Okay? And that will be your answer. Okay? And now you have to solve this inequality. So you want me to do this again? So what we do, we know that this fraction sign, is divide. Okay. So when we're dividing, we are doing c to the power of 3 divided by c to the power of 2. When you have this, when you're dividing and the power is the same, you will get c to the power of 1, subtracting the powers. Now this one, you would not write it when you write your final answer, because this is not in the simplest form. So we'll just write c, okay? And then d to the power of 4 divided by d to the power of 1, the invisible 1, you get d to the power of 3, okay? D to the power of 3, and that will be your answer. Just write it together, okay? Now let's solve this inequality, guys. So you have to solve 5x to the power of, 5 over 2 is greater than 7. So whenever we're solving inequality, just remember, just imagine that this inequality is just like the equal sign, okay? You do every single thing. You do every single thing the same. You just think that the inequality sign is an equal sign, okay? So you would times by 2 from both sides. Times by 2 on both times by 2 from both sides, and you would get 5x is greater than 14. Okay? And then to get x on its own, what we're going to do, we're going to divide by 5 on both sides. And you're going to get x, which is greater than 14 over 5. You can just leave it as a fraction. So you can get x is greater than 14 over 5. This is paper free, guys. Paper free. So this whole page is called question number 23, worth 5 marks. Give a thumbs up in the chat if we're ready to move on to our next question. And don't forget to follow, guys. So you don't get question C. Basically, this is basically the same thing that you would solve like normal like equations. You would imagine that this is an equal sign, and then you would multiply by 2 from both sides to get 5 is greater than 2 and greater than 14. And then you would divide by 5, which will get x, which is greater than 14 over 5. That will just leave it like that, because inequalities, you leave your answer like this, okay? So we have question number 24. Andy cycles a distance of 30 kilometers at an average speed of 20 kilometers per hour. He then runs a distance of 12 kilometers at an average speed of 8 kilometers per hour. Work out the total time Andy takes. So what we need to do is that first of all, we need to write down the formula of speed, okay? So we know that speed is equal to distance divided by time. And in this question we're told to work out the time. So to rearrange this to work out time, the time is equal to distance divided by the speed. Distance divided by the speed. So this question is split into two parts. So the first part he cycled, and the second part he runs. So for the first part, so part 1, when he cycles, what he does, the distance is 30 kilometers at a speed of 24. So we're going to do 30 divided by 24. And if you use a calculator, you get 1.25. And 1.25 hours, and 1.25 hours in hours and minutes only is going to be 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay? And then we do the same thing for part 2 when he runs. So when he runs, he travels a distance of 12 kilometers. It's going to be 12 over 8 because that was his speed. So then use a calculator. 12 divided by 8 is going to be 1.5, and that's going to be 1.5 hours, and that, if you convert it into hours and minutes, that will give us 1 hour and 30 minutes. And now it says we have to work out the total time. The total time we have to add this 1 hour 30 minutes to the 1 hour and 15 minutes. So we have 1 hour and 30 minutes plus 1 hour and 15 minutes, which will give you a grand time of 2 hours and 45 minutes. And that will be a final answer, 2 hours and 45 minutes. That was question number 24. Answer. Very simple. So, question number 25. A number m is rounded to one decimal place. The result is 9.4. Complete the error interval for m. So, error interval just means what are the values, the two values that could have been the number which he rounded, okay? It's like the range of numbers that could have been that gave him this answer, 9.4, if I explained that correctly. So it's fairly simple. What I would do is I would do 9.4 minus 0.05 and then 9.4 plus 0.05. That's the mathematical way of working it out, okay? And that is going to be 9.35, 9.35 and 9.45, and that will just be your answer, okay? And your small number goes on this side, and your larger number goes on this side, 9.45. Okay? So that was a fairly simple question, worth 2 marks. Why am I using 0.05? Is because he rounded it to one decimal place. When you're rounding to one decimal place, when you round it to like so basically this is the one decimal place, right? Whenever you round to one decimal place, you always look at the decimal place next to it, right? You look at the second decimal place. That is why you're subtracting by 0.05 because it has 2 decimal places, okay? Why is it 5? Because it's 5. When you're rounding, you can get 9.35. You can round 9.35 up to 9.4, and you can round 9.44 down to 9.4. It will give you the same answer. And be aware, look at these signs, okay? this is going to be 9.5, okay? Because look at the sign. This means less than, okay? Less than. It's going to be every single number less than 9.5, okay? So that will be your answer. So let's move on to our next question, guys. Question number 26. We only have like a few questions left. So Maisie knows that she needs 3 kg of grass seeds to make a rectangular lawn by 5 meters, lawn 5 meter by 9 meters, okay? Grass seed is sold in 2 kg boxes. Macy wants to make a rectangular lawn of 10 meters by 14 meters. She has 5 boxes of grass seeds. Has Maisie got enough grass seeds to make loan 10 meter by 14 meters? You must show all your working out. So, first of all, we have to work out the total. We have to work out the area of this. So we can compare it to the area of this, okay? So we're going to do 5 times 9. That's going to be 45 meters squared. That is the area that requires 3 kg of grass seeds, okay? So we know that 45 meter squared of area needs 3 kg of grass seeds. We know that, we worked that out. But on the other hand, we need, she has 5 boxes of grass seeds and she has 10 times 14. 10 times 14 is 140. So to work out if she has enough grass seeds, grass is sold in 2 kg boxes. To work out how much 2 kg boxes she has, we have to first of all divide by 3 to get to 2 kg boxes. Okay? We have to try to get 2 kg boxes, okay? Try to get that 2 kg, okay? So we're going to divide by 3 to get 1 kg, which is 15 meters squared for 1 kg, and for 2 kg, it's going to be 13 meters squared. 30 meters squared needs 2 kg of grass seeds. We know that each box, we know that each box covers 30 meter squares of area, okay? Because each box is 2 kg, so we know that we worked it out by dividing and multiplying, and we worked out each box covers 30 meters squared of area, okay? So now she has 5 boxes of grass seeds. She has 5 boxes of grass seeds. So we are just going to do 5 multiplied by 30 meters squared, because that's the amount one box covers. So 5 times 30, which is going to be 150 meters squared. So she has enough. So basically, Maisie has enough grass seeds to cover 150 meters squared of area. So we have to work out if Maisie got enough grass seeds to make a lawn of 10 meter by 140 meters. So we have to work out the area. So 10 times 14 will give you 140 meters squared. So has she got enough? Yes, she has got enough, because we know that 150 meters squared is greater than 140 meters squared, okay? Why are we multiplying by 5? Because we know that she has 5 boxes in total. Read the question, guys. She has 5 boxes in total, and we just have to calculate if she had enough grass seeds. So, let's look at part B of the question. So Maisie opens the 5 boxes of grass seeds. She finds that 4 of the boxes contain 2 kg of grass seeds. The other box contains 1 kg of grass seed. So does this affect whether Maisie has enough grass seeds to make her loan? Give a reason for your answer. So, does she have enough? Does it affect our answer? Of course it affects our answer. Because we know that if 2 kg, we know that 2 kg is 30 meters squared, it covers 30 meters squared, then 1 kg will cover 15 meters squared. So we know that 1 kg covers 15 meters squared. So she only has enough for 135 meters squared. So now basically she has 5 meters squared less. So she has less grass seeds. She has less grass seeds, okay? She has less grass seeds. Okay. So I hope you got that correct. Give a thumbs up in the chat if you got that correct and you understand, and if you want to move on to our next question. So we only have like 3 or 4 questions left. And guys, if you already haven't followed, follow, as I do live every single day actually. So who likes probability? We're doing probability now. Probability. So Amanda has 2 fair-sided spinners. So these are our 2 fair-sided spinners. Amanda spins each spinner once. Complete the probability tree diagram, okay? So we need to work out the probability that it lands on a 2. Spinner A. Look at spinner A. Lands on a 2. So the probability that it lands on a 2 is 1/3 because there is 3 possibilities. That's going to be our denominator, and to land on 2, it's going to be 1/3, and that is going to be our probability that lands on a 2. And the probability that it does not land on 2 is going to be -1. It's going to be 2/3. Okay? So now, once we have done that, we've done spinner A, we're going to do the same thing for spinner B. For spinner B, we have to work out if it lands on 2. It's basically, they're basically the same spinner. So you're going to have the same probability. It's going to be 1/3, 2/3, and then 1/3, 2/3. That is our probability tree diagram completed. Now for part B, we are asked to work out the probability that spinner A lands on 2 and spinner B does not land on 2. So we have to look at what route of the probability tree diagram we have to take. So spinner A lands on a 2 is going to be going from here, lands on a 2, and then spinner B does not land on 2, so we're going to go from here to here. So you have to work out the probability of getting a 2 and then not a 2. So when we have this type of question, you have to multiply the 2 probabilities together. So we're going to do a third, which is the probability of getting a 2, multiplying it by not getting a 2 on spinner B. It's going to be times by 2/3, which will give you 2/9, which is going to be your probability, and you can simplify this. Actually, you can't simplify this, so it's going to say like this, to 2/9. Okay? And that will be your probability, guys. 2/9. That was a very easy probability question. Probability question is very, very easy. So if you knew what probabilities actually are, then you were good with that question. So give a thumbs up if you are ready to move on to our next question. So in the chat, tell me if you like simultaneous equations, if you're good at simultaneous equations. So if you're good at simultaneous equations, that's a good thing, because our next question is graphical simultaneous equations. Okay? So you have to use these graphs to solve the simultaneous equation, this. So whenever we're solving simultaneous equations graphically, that means that we have to find the point of intersection, the point where they touch each other, the point where they overlap each other, okay? So the point where they overlap each other is this specific point over here. This point over here. Okay? This point over here. We got our point. We have to write down the probability. I mean, not the probability. The coordinates. The coordinates. The coordinates are -2 and 4 because we go along the corridor, which is -2, up the third, which is 4. Then we can work out the x and y values. We know that we write coordinates as x and y like that. So we know that our x value is going to be -2 and our y value is going to be 4. And that is literally going to be your answer. X is -2 and y is 4. And that is why graphical simultaneous equations are always like 1-mark questions. As you can see, this is like a 1-mark question right there, 1-mark question. Okay. This is paper free, guys. Paper free. Foundation paper free calculator. This is Edexcel. I don't think they should have given you this question on a calculator paper. This is normally on the non-calculator paper. So let's move on to part B of the question. So now we have to use this graph to find the estimates for the solution of the quadratic equation x squared minus 4x plus 2 is equal to 0. When it says to find the estimates of the solutions of the quadratic equation, that just means that we know that quadratic equation always has 2 values of x's. They always have 2 values of x, okay? To find the 2 values of x using this graph, we have to find the 2 points where this graph touches the x-axis. As you know that this graph touches the x-axis at this point and at this point. So we have to work out the x-axis value, the x value, okay? So this over here and this point over here. Over here, we know that x is equal to 0.6. And over here, x is equal to 3.4. And that will be your answer. Fairly simple. And just to let you know, a quadratic always passes through the x-axis, okay? That's how it always gets its 2 values of x. Yes, it is actually so easy. I will go through the higher paper calculator tomorrow, okay? I'll do the higher paper tomorrow. So I'll probably do calculator. That's why you guys should follow us. I do foundation and higher, both foundation and higher, literally. So, question number 29, our last question, guys. Last question of this paper. So, last paper, and it's actually kind of simple. So, what time am I doing higher paper tomorrow? So, tomorrow I will do it at, let's say 6:30, around 6 or 7 o'clock. Tomorrow 6 or 7 o'clock. Okay. This is foundation. So, the diagram shows a solid triangular prism. The prism is made from wood with a density of 0.8 grams per centimeter cubed. Work out the mass of the prism. So we know the formula of density is equal to mass divided by the volume. So the only missing value we have to work out the mass, we already know the density, we have to work out the volume of this shape. To work out the volume of this prism, this triangular prism, the volume, the formula is the cross section times by the height, times by the length of the height. So the cross section, the area of the cross section So I mean the area of cross section. So I have to do. So I find this area of this specific shape over here. This triangle over here. Work out the area of this triangle. It's gonna be a half times 6 times 4. That's gonna give us the area of the triangle, and then we're gonna times it by a length which is 10 centimeters. And remember, guys, this is our calculator paper. So then you will get answer of 120 centimeter cubed, and that will be our volume of our triangular prism, 120 centimeter cubed. Yes, this will be on YouTube, guys. It will be on YouTube. So to work out the volume, you have to memorize this equation to find the volume of any prism. Okay, it's just the area of the cross section times by the length. It's fairly simple. So now we got our missing value that we're trying to work out. This is the volume. So now we can substitute it in. We have to first of all rearrange this equation to find the mass. To work out the mass equals to density times by the volume. Okay, so we'll rearrange this volume. So if I follow, will I get a notification when you're on live? Yes. Whoever follows me, they always get a notification. If you turn notifications on, okay? You do get a notification. That's why you should always follow. So now we rearrange this equation. So now we're gonna substitute our values in. So we know our density is 0.8 times by our volume, which is 120, to get our mass. So now our mass is equal to 96 grams. And that is our final answer, guys. 96 grams is our final answer. That question was